Okay, so what we've done now is to create rooms and objects and describe those rooms and objects. Um, that's fairly basic and straightforward. So what is not quite as straightforward would be to use flags. Flags are attributes that an object can have that makes for a change of some sort, so that when you've done something, something in the world has changed. Um, that's extremely important for a game, of course, because what you would like to do is for the player to be able to you know alter the environment he's in, and in that way move the story onwards. So a flag could be used to set that change, so that, for instance, when the change has happened, that triggers scripts that will maybe solve a problem for the player, or in some cases just add to the mood by creating a new description, for instance, for that object. So if we have a look at Nissa here, we will have him, of course, being described using a description. And we can, instead of picking a regular text box, we can use the add script function here. And when you click add new script, of course, you get a number of different things or categories of things that you can do to this script. And output, print a message, etc., is one you've probably been working with. But I would like you to pay attention to the variables here. And variables are something, a value that could be connected to the object. And in this case, we would like to have a flag. So a flag is a very, very simple kind of attribute. And it's either on or off, or 1 or 0, if you look at the way programming math typically works. So we can set an object flag, or we can unset it. And that's sometimes equally as important. So let's set object flag, press OK. And you can choose the object here in the empty drop-down menu. So that one is the one you want. So if you pick him here, Nissa, this says flag name or expression. So use flag name. And then you have to invent a clever name for your flag. And depending on what you would like to do with the character, of course, that will influence the naming scheme of your flag. But it's important to name it in a way so that it's easy to get back to remember for later, because you might want to reference this flag later. So it's not enough just calling it flag 1 or 2 or 3, etc. So in this case, we would like to Nisse here to have a let's say he's a very shy person. So he has a flag called is blushing. It's good if you keep it in one word like that. It's easier to use code if you keep stuff in one single word. Is blushing, all right? So when you look at him, he will start to blush. And then you can add a new script, prints a message saying something like, Nisse is blushing. Right, so now we have a list of things that are happening. The set flag, which sets the flag, and then the print message. This isn't quite enough, but we have just created two different things here. We would like to relate them to each other, so that if the flag is set, we want the message to be Nisse's blushing. So we select print again, delete that one, add new script, and you click if over here. That adds an if statement. If statements are logic statements which tell us that if something is the case, something will happen. And if object has flag, now you understand that it's important that we remember the name of the flag. If object has flag, object Nisse, flag name is blushing. You can't select like a name from a list, you need to remember it, so that's why you probably want to name it something very useful from the beginning. Now we have the situation, if Nisse has that flag, we can add a message that only appears if he is in fact blushing. So now the message could be Nisse is blushing, right? Of course, when we did this now, we made sure that when you just look at him, he starts to blush. So we don't have a state for him where he's not blushing. And what you probably would want is to remove the flag thing right now and just have the if statement. We need to make sure that he gets that flag in some other way. We can do that, for instance, by talking to him. And to be able to talk to him, we can just add speak to. When you're speaking to him, we can either print a message or run a script. Let's run a script. And we add the script that prints the message. Let's say the message is Nisse says hi. If we now elect to speak to Nisse, he will say hi, or this message will print. If we go back to the setup page, we don't have an else. So we only have something like Nisse is blushing if he is in fact blushing already. So we need to add the other statement. So if he's not, if he doesn't have that flag, this other thing will appear. So print a message. Just say just for us to try out this logic, say that Nisse is not blushing. This is pale, which would be the opposite to blushing. If we would now try our game out, click north, we're in the hallway. So if we click Nisse here, we look at him, we see that Nisse is pale. But if we talk to Nisse, Nisse says hi. If we now have a look at him, Nisse is pale. We want to make sure we have a way of setting that flag to its on state. So let's go back to the verbs. We had printed that message already, but now when we printed the message, we can add a new script which, click variables, sets the object flag. And we'll be doing that. We'll click Nisse here. Flag name is blushing. So now, just by the mere fact that we're speaking to him, he will start to blush. If we now press play, we'll see that we can go north. We can look at Nisse. He is pale. We can north. You look at Nisse. He is pale. You speak to Nisse. Nisse says hi. So just by the action of speaking to Nisse, he's now blushing because we know that that script changed the object flag to an on state. So let's again look at Nisse. Nisse is now blushing. So that's how you use flags to change the environment that the player is in.